Well, the same national media members that rushed to bury the Big 12 back in July and August are now running out of reasons to belittle the conference just 1 month into the college football season. And that even includes the Athletic. Welcome into the channel, guys. I am John Kurtz. Yes, I know, coming to you from a bit of a different locale here. I'm on the road in Kansas City this week, okay? So I hope that this setup works well enough for you as well. The background is a little bit more exciting. Here on this channel, I talk college football every day. Right now, that means conference realignment every day. I try to give the Big 12 a voice. Let's go ahead and start this video with the typical check-in that we've been having and where the Big 12 sits in the national polls here week by week as we're over a month in now to the college football season. So if you look at the latest AP Top 25 poll, the new Big 12 has number 5, number 10, and number 12 with Cincinnati, BYU, and Oklahoma State. The Pac-12 has number 8 and number 22. The ACC, number 19 and number 23. Pretty laughable. I mean, right now, Cincinnati is number 5 in one poll, number 6 in the other. BYU is number 10 in both. Oklahoma State is number 12 in both. And what that means is all it took was 1 month, basically, of the college football season to get us to a point where the Big 12 is in a substantially better position in the polls than both the Pac-12 and the ACC. Again, let me just underscore this point. I know it is a small sample size. I know this is one season, and it's only about a quarter to a half, maybe a third. We'll say a third of the way, basically, through the college football season here. The point was never that definitively, based on some small sample size, the Big 12 is better. It's that the Big 12, 100,000% can be competitive with the ACC and the Pac-12 on the field, and these are data points continuing to suggest that is the case, to back it up with the data points that have already been covered here on this channel over the last 5 years, and how the Big 12 and new Big 12 would have stacked up. Because if what we're seeing now holds anywhere near true, it just means that year to year, with the fluctuations that happen season to season, the Big 12 should be right in that conversation every single year with the ACC and the Pac-12. And big picture here, we're headed toward the Big 2, the SEC and the Big 10, and everybody else. Now, another big part of this has always been, okay, some of the pushback. Okay, John, that's great. You have teams in the top 25. We can compare total number of teams in the top 25. But what about the college football playoff? What about getting teams into the playoff? Well, enter Cincinnati to the picture. And that is where I've been even taken aback by what the response has been nationally to Cincinnati's win over Notre Dame. Cincinnati already being at number 5 in one poll, number 6 in the other, would seem to indicate that they're going to be in prime position once that first college football playoff selection committee poll comes out, assuming that it's anywhere near this, okay? And yes, I understand that Oregon and Cincinnati, that can become a debate. I've already seen some of that pushback. Hey, John, a one-loss Oregon team will be in better position than Cincinnati because that's how the playoff committee is going to react. And yes, there will certainly be those that subscribe to that line of thinking. For instance, our old buddy Stuart Mandel, we've already seen him positioning this as basically Oregon has a mulligan. They have a mulligan to lose a game in conference play because of the win at Ohio State. I would disagree with that. Some obviously will not. But I actually think this part of the argument will be somewhat moot because I think Cincinnati has a much better chance of actually fulfilling their end of the bargain here. We're talking about getting to the end of the year with an undefeated Cincinnati and a one-loss Oregon. I think Cincinnati's in way better position to actually get there because Oregon has some problems right now. Look, Oregon still has UCLA, Utah, a home game with Oregon State, the Pac-12 title game against, who knows at this point, Arizona State, UCLA, maybe Utah or USC again. That's a tougher schedule than what Cincinnati has left, all right? Cincinnati, they do have SMU. That's the one team that's either ranked or receiving votes. And the Mustangs, shout out to them, having a nice season, are ranked 24th right now in the country. But that's a little bit different. And they've already proven that they've outclassed Notre Dame. They've won 2 games against Power 5 road opponents on the road by double digits. They've done the dirty work. And on top of all of that, let's look at the quarterback situations here. Because when I say Oregon has problems, it's not just about the schedule. It's that their quarterback situation is not great. Anthony Brown has some real ineffectiveness right now at quarterback, and there's a lot of discussion that I've heard, at least nationally, about what Oregon does there at QB. It was just so easy to run all over Ohio State. That helped them get the win in Columbus. I think Oregon's losing again. I'll be frank. I think Oregon is losing again. I don't see Cincinnati dropping a game the rest of the way. Let's look on the other side of this. Anthony Brown, the quarterback at Oregon. What about Cincinnati's quarterback? It's Desmond Ridder, and the guy is a stud. He's phenomenal and scored the basically game-clinching touchdown against Notre Dame. Gave the nice little shush to the crowd or whatever it was. Can you hear me? Love the guy. He's got some swagger, and he may be a Heisman finalist by the time this is all said and done. And if you don't believe me, you don't want to take my word for it, take Nicole Auerbach's word for it. You know who she works for? The Athletic. Yes, our old friends here at the Big 12. We love the Athletic, right, guys? Well, here's what Nicole had to say. Cincinnati proved in the Peach Bowl against Georgia, a game it controlled for 3 quarters but gave away in the final minutes with questionable decisions, that it was not playing at an inferior level to the Power Five's best. The Bearcats could certainly hang with Georgia then, and they look like they can hang with just about anyone this year. If the Bearcats run the table, it shouldn't even be a question. Again, those are Nicole Auerbach's words, not mine. If the Bearcats run the table, it shouldn't even be a question. They'd have multiple wins over Power 5 foes and a conference title to their name. They'd be well-positioned in a chaotic season that's already eliminated 2 of last year's participants, Clemson and Notre Dame, from contention. Nicole Auerbach said it from The Athletic. That's been as tough a critic as anybody of the new-look Big 12, and they are now starting to shift into the corner of Cincinnati. At least one writer there is. And guys, look, I know another question here would be like, all right, so what, John? What does it matter? Can Cincinnati actually compete with Bama or Georgia? That's not the point, 1. And 2, nobody can. What we've learned throughout the first 5 weeks of the college football season, nobody is competing with Bama or Georgia. So everybody else, you still have to find 2 playoff spots, right? Cincinnati is as deserving as anybody. And if it doesn't happen this year, it's just simply never going to happen. But it looks like there is going to be a groundswell of support that will build as long as Cincy does their part and continues to win games. We haven't even talked much about BYU here, but if BYU beats Baylor, if they continue winning games, what happens at the end of the year if we have Cincinnati in the college football playoff, BYU in the New Year's Six, Oklahoma State still as a top 15 to 20 team when it's all said and done, and you'd have 3 Big 12 teams, new Big 12 teams in those positions by the end of the year? It's going to be hard to keep spinning those anti-Big 12 narratives, right? It's going to be hard to continue to try and position the ACC and the Pac-12 in much better spots when the ACC already has a crappy TV revenue deal. And the Pac-12, I think, will be headed for one that is not going to be what they want it to be. Guys, there are some good things happening here. There are some national narratives potentially changing. You just need Cincinnati and BYU to continue to win football games. But everything that's happened so far this season has backed up most of what's been said on this channel and by many in Big 12 country. Again, I appreciate all of you who do subscribe to the channel. Click subscribe if you have not. I talk college football every day on this channel. Right now, that means conference realignment every day on this channel. I try to give the Big 12 a voice. You can follow me on Twitter, at JL Kurtz, as long as Twitter stays up and doesn't go down like Facebook and Instagram. I think Instagram's back up. You can follow me there at John Kurtz Show. You can also follow me on TikTok at John Kurtz Show. And I do a 2-hour daily radio show. You can find the information to get that in the bio to this video. Take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.